Well, we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of America next year, and to share the stories of our nation, we're also recognizing the past that comes along with it.
Fox Skyline's Arinder sits down with a historian on how the Rutherford Trace in North Carolina got its name.
Obviously, to talk about the Rutherford Trace, we have to talk about some of its jagged past as well and the things that were happening along the trace. So let's start there.
This was the largest militia action of the entire Revolutionary War, and it was in western North Carolina in late August, September mostly of 1776. So it's part of the spirit of 76. And it was General Griffith Rutherford organized the entire western frontier from the Virginia line down to the South Carolina line. All of the citizens that could be militiamen were called to arms.
So really, the Rutherford Trace was used to wipe out the Cherokee tribe because of their alliance with the British.
The intention of the Rutherford expedition was to remove the Indians from the western part of North Carolina, to move them over the mountain in the parlance of the day. And so it was to burn their villages and remove them from western North Carolina over the mountain and take them out of the war, because the Crown's plan was to take their Cherokee allies on the western frontier and use their naval power on the coast, where they could command the cities of the coast, Wilmington, Charleston, Savannah. You know, they with their navy they could command the coast, but they needed their allies from the west on the frontier, and their point was to bring them together and take care of the southern colonies. But Rutherford's expedition took the Cherokee out of the war. He marched September. He burned 30-some villages of the Cherokee, and they marched into the valley of the Little Tennessee. And they made a loop. And during that time, along about the 17th to 18th of September, William Anderson's column of South Carolina militia marched up from South Carolina to join them. So there was the primary column was North Carolina militia with Rutherford, and South Carolina militia was doing the same thing in South Carolina, the lower towns.
People who look back on these stories, especially those who are Cherokee and Catawba descendants, how do we also stay sensitive to what happened?
We want to commemorate this 250th. And in western North Carolina, we're both here. The Cherokees are still here. We're here, the Anglo-European settlers, we're here. We're all Americans together. In 1777, they signed a peace treaty to support the new nation and the patriot cause. And the descendants of those signers can join the sons of the American Revolution. But how to be sensitive is to say they had an honorable position when Oconestoga led his ambush against Anderson's column. He knew he couldn't face them straight on because they had overwhelming forces over his. But he found a very strategic spot to ambush them as they were coming through a very steep ravine of Waya Creek, and he used his forces wisely to retaliate and to say you can't do this without our retaliation. And he did a pretty good job. You have to. It's not reported because the victors write the history, but Oconestoga had inflicted more casualties than Kings Mountain and Cowpens combined on that September 19th.